Hi guys, this is the moment that clearly most all of you have been waiting for, because we get commented so much. So Rick and I's plan, we did this strategically. We wanted to give you a big update instead of a bunch of little updates, because the last time you complained that we didn't give you enough. So this is going to be a lot. This is your update video on Billy's Street Race Channel Camaro. The front of it obviously looks completely different. All this tube work when we left you last was pretty much done, and it was ready to come off the chassis table. It is off the chassis table now. All the tube work's done. I mean, the boys killed it. They did a great job. It looks awesome. Along with the new Hammer adjustable strut cups that we placed, there's going to be a Mincer shock that was a prototype. We should have the actual shock within the next couple weeks to put all this back to, not for the final time when it's painted, but we should have the actual shocks. Once we have those actual shocks, that will be something that you guys are able to buy from us. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Super excited to work with Mark and them. They had to do a bunch of stuff to make that work, and it's awesome. They've done a great job prototyping it, and I'm just really excited to get our hands on the final version. We also built new A-arms for it. So a lot of times what you run into is the ball joint in a typical A-arm is not enough. So these are high travel A-arms from a company called Modern Racing. They're great. This is a great kit. We put the kit together, but all this was already welded on for us, and then we made the arms to length. Worked out great. We ended up remounting the rack just because there were some issues there. And then now you get to see these. There's obviously not a Pro Charger hanging off the front of this thing. Billy changed his mind really a couple weeks after we had talked about this. Just the turbos are going to be a little easier on equipment. He already had a great relationship with Force Inductions. So the two Force Inductions turbos, these are mounted on Maven mounts. But then obviously no prep car, we wanted our turbos back as far as we could. That ran into some other issues. We got into the brakes. It's just, when you start a race car, you're out, it's like you're out in the yard and you're like, man, I want to make a snowball. And you make this snowball. And then all of a sudden, that snowball, it rolls down a hill. And as the snowball rolls, eventually it starts taking out towns. And that's what we have here. Our snowball has rolled. So you'll see that throughout here. Inside, we had to redo some tin work to make. Now Billy's going to run a Turbo 400, so this car was originally set up for a glide, which you wouldn't think is a big deal, but it ended up kind of being a big deal. And once we raised the car up, I'll show you why. But Jay had to redo this tin work. This tin work was actually on the bottom, and it was welded in because it had a fixed transmission crossmember, which I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, just because something changed here, something had to change up here. So we tried to keep as much of his tin work that was already done as possible, and then just fix what we needed to fix. Out back, I'm really excited for this. We were planning on making, you'll notice that we have more carbon wings on our website. We wanted a 67, 68 Camaro wing because Billy's car is here. It's a great time for us to go ahead and build a production wing off this. So we got rid of the old bracket race wing, and we're gonna build a really nice carbon wing with our friend Mike Kostick. So we're going to build this wing out of aluminum, and then we'll send that to Mike. That's what he uses as his template to make the carbon wings. And then Billy will get the first, our TSR Kostick carbon wing for this Camaro. So be on the lookout for that over the next couple of months. Once we have everything finalized, we'll release that to where you guys can buy it. Then we'll kind of go in here. Once the turbos got there, the master cylinder was out on front of the firewall, so that was a problem. So Jay has cut all this out, and then we just need to fit our brake pedal. This is just a Willwood underneath the dash pedal. We use these on all of our builds. I really like them. I really do not prefer master cylinders in the floor. A lot of cars are like that. I'd much rather have this underneath the dash. This car won't have a dash in, I don't think, because Billy doesn't care that much. I like a car with a dash, but I shouldn't say that because Charlie doesn't have a dash in it right now. That's just because of time, but he would have a dash in it. It's probably high enough for me and you, Rick. These are just some shocks we had laying around, which we're lucky enough to have some Penske's laying around. These are really nice shocks, but the car will have Mincer's new 3-way adjustable shocks. So when we get the front shocks, they're gonna send the backs too. So it's a new 3-way adjustable canister deal. Just really, really nice stuff. Car has one of our fabricated rear end housings in it. This is a chromoly deal, so you can see Dalton just he does a great job, man. They look so awesome. And then we changed to this housing, so then we had to move the shock mounts on the chassis. It now has one of our billet anti-roll bars in it. And then our boys at CJ Racecars, they sent us a titanium 4-link bar kit for it. We welded them up here, but CJ just sent us a kit because I wasn't sure. You can't just assume that they're going to be the same length 4-link bars as he had with his other housing, so we needed to get it in here. You can see that axle center line's marked, and then we measured everything out, made some new bars for it. Actually, I will go up a little bit more, Rick. I love these housings. This is what we've been working with Hammer for a long time, and this faceplate is so sick with the lightning holes and stuff. So then it's set up. This is an O-ring, so you don't have a gasket anymore. So you use a length of O-ring, which is super sweet. It just makes it so much easier. You not have to deal with a gasket. It's awesome, and that's something we run in Charlie and a ton of our customer cars. That works out great. This is our wishbone kit here. We were able to reuse the tabs that he had here, and then we built this wishbone. You can buy this from us as a weld together kit. You can do it on your own, or if you give us dimensions, we'll go ahead and build this for you, which most people, building a wishbone's kind of out of most people's wheelhouse. We have a super nice jig, and we're happy to knock it out for you. Now you can kind of see what I was talking about. This car there was a cross member that was welded in here, and it was a welded fixed cross member that the trans mounted to. Then there was another, this is 10 here. It had another 10 pan that was welded to this. And then basically this drive shaft enclosure, our 10 work here, it has drive shaft loops on top, actually didn't hit the pan. So there was like an air gap in between this and the pan. So like, you know, it just wasn't the right way to do it. So Jaybird, when he cut this out, he went ahead and moved the floor pan up to where it fit tight up against this enclosure that he already had. And then you can mount a transmission a couple of different ways, and it's still you can do it with a 4-bolt flange, which we do sell those, or you can do it with this 2-tab deal. I actually like the 2-tab a little bit better because now it's just 2 bolts to get out instead of having to deal with a flange. And then we had to redo these side panels because they were notched for some tubes that were here, all that. So Jay had to redo these and make it all work. So just, the snowball, it rolled down the hill. And then Todd is welding up. This is just the new transmission cross member, so Todd welding all that up. Sleeve, just really nice. Our boys are so talented, man. Yeah, so now what's left? That's probably your question. What do we got left? Really, for what Billy and I originally talked about, we've done way more than what we kind of originally thought. Now I think we are going to go ahead and do the turbo kit and stuff for him. Just the car's turned out so nice. I think he just would rather us do it, and he just doesn't have a ton of time, you know. So I think we'll probably at minimum build the headers, but I would say we'll probably do the rest of it. So he'll probably be down here in the next couple weeks whenever he gets his motor. We really need the actual engine now. We've mocked everything up with mock-up stuff, but when you do the turbo kit, I would really rather have the actual engine where everything's all the accessories are mounted. And that's key, man. Have patience. Like, if you're building a car, make sure you have the right stuff, right? Like, it really sucks to build something and then you're like, oh, I wasn't thinking about this, which I see a ton of people do that with turbo stuff, that, you know, they try to do it with a mock-up block, but then they don't think about, you know, an oil pump or a fuel pump or an alternator or whatever's in your way. So be patient, get all the right stuff, mock it up completely, then build all your stuff. So we'll do that. once we get the motor, we'll finalize where we're going to put the fuel cell and some other stuff. So yeah, big update for you guys. It's, you know, just because we weren't filming doesn't mean we weren't doing anything. Oh, Rick about went down, boys. So yeah, if you have any additional questions, something you want to see, drop it in the comments. If you have a question about how we did something that you didn't see, that it was just like movie magic and it got done, drop that in the comments. That helps me and Rick to know, like, hey, I want to see more about whatever, right? So we appreciate you. I will give you a little teaser. The next month or so, we're getting ready to start another giveaway on a BES engine, which is going to be tight. We've been working behind the scenes to get all that stuff ready, and you'll see that drop within the next month or so. So as always, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you later.